Two houses, two foundations. In a quiet neighborhood, two families lived side by side. Their homes looked nearly identical from the outside. Both had blooming flower beds, laughter echoing on sunny days, and the scent of home-cooked meals wafting through open windows. But within, the hearts of these homes told very different stories. The House of the Heart, the family of Mr. and Mrs. Aaron. Inside the first home lived the Aarons. Mr. and Mrs. Aaron, their two children, Rena and Kavi, and the elderly grandparents. From the moment the sun rose, kindness flowed like warm light through every corner of the house. Every morning, Rena helped her grandmother with breakfast, while Kavi read aloud stories of wisdom and courage to their grandfather in the garden. These were not just duties, they were acts of love, taught through example. Their parents never lectured about being good or respecting the elders. Instead, they lived it. Mr. Arun was often seen kneeling beside his father, helping trim his nails or massaging his sore legs after a long walk. Mrs. Aaron would gently brush her mother-in-law's hair, humming softly, treating her like a queen even on the ordinary days. No one raised voices, even disagreements were addressed with calm and dignity. Rena once asked her father, "Appa, why do you always do so much for Grandpa when he never asks?" Mr. Aaron smiled, placing his hand on her head. "Because one day you will grow up. And I want you to remember not just what I said, but what I did." Those words rooted deeply in Rena and Kavi. The lessons weren't in books alone, but in daily actions. As they grew, so did their hearts, strong, warm, and full of compassion. A house of commands. The family of Mr. Darren next door lived Mr. Darren and his wife Lena, with their two children, AJ and Mira. Their house was tidy and modern, but inside, there was an invisible coldness that filled the rooms. Mr. Darren was an educated man, proud of his status and achievements. He often lectured his children, "You must respect your mother. You must help her in the kitchen. That's how good children behave." Yet he never once lifted a hand to help himself. He never washed a dish, never asked Lena if she was tired, never held her hand or shared her burden. His love was spoken, never shown. He barked orders from the couch while scrolling on his phone. Ajay followed his father's commands, but with dragging feet and a frown. Helping his mother felt like a chore, not a choice. Mira, young and confused, started mimicking her father's tone, believing that power meant pointing fingers. One evening, Ajay mumbled to Mira, "Dad tells us to be good, but he never does anything himself. What's the point?" Mira looked down. "Maybe being good just means doing what you're told, not what you feel." Their mother, exhausted and quiet, often stared out the window at the Aaron household, watching Rena hold her grandmother's arm as they watered the plants, or Kavi laughing beside his grandfather on the porch. A sigh left her lips. "I wish our home had a little of that warmth," she whispered to herself. Years later, the children grew up. Rena became a nurse, caring for the elderly with the same love she saw her parents give. Kavi became a teacher, guiding children not just with books, but by nurturing their hearts. They still visited their old home, now with their own children, who played on their grandparents' laps and listened to the same bedtime stories their parents once loved. Next door, Ajay grew distant from his mother, seeing her as someone who was used to being alone. He followed his father's footsteps, stern, cold, respected by colleagues, but unknown to his own children. Mira left home early, tired of being told what to do by people who never showed love. She once said during a family gathering, "We were told what's right, but we never felt it." Two houses, two legacies. The Aarons lived their final years surrounded by their children and grandchildren, laughter and care wrapping them in a soft embrace. Their home remained filled with life, music, and shared meals. Mr. Darren, now older and slower, sat often alone in his living room. His wife had passed quietly, worn out and unseen. Ajay, busy with work, called on holidays but rarely visited. There were no children's giggles in the halls, only echoes of commands long forgotten. A simple truth. Kindness, dignity, and love are not just spoken, they are lived. Children don't learn from rules. They learn from what they see. And two families living side by side proved that love in action leaves a legacy far deeper than love in words. End.